It is Monday, February 22nd, 2021. You know what time it is. It's time for the Early Edge. We're powered by SportsLine. We're in your feed every single day before 11 a.m., and we do it most days in 10 minutes or less. The clock has started. But today, this is the fullest, busiest show we've ever had. First and foremost, before I bring in my cappers who are like greyhounds, ready to go, get out there, we came off another perfect day. And not just 2-0, not 3-0. We were 9-0. 4 different sports, 3-0 in the NBA, 3-0 in college basketball, 2-0 in NASCAR. How about a little golf pick from last Wednesday that cashed yesterday as well? And we also got a little under in hockey all yesterday. My cappers are on fire. And if you're not following us, what in the world are you doing? Also, we have 8 free year-long subscriptions to give away today because of our Perfect Parlay contest and also our contest over at Apple Podcasts. So let's get to it. Let's bring in my cappers right now. My goodness, right below me. You know the name. Right now, he's been on fire across many sports. M Squared, good morning.
Good morning, Coach. Yeah, yesterday was definitely a Sunday fun day, and it's heating up at the right time headed into March Madness soon. I am fired up, ready to go.
I got a text yesterday from our next capper, and he says, Coach, I feel like I'm an outsider. I don't feel like I'm part of the – you're part of the party today. Zach Attack, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Man, I'm looking forward to it. Gotta add to the momentum today.
And I was kidding. You didn't really text me. You didn't really do that. All right. And the man who's had so many perfect days the last week that the bosses are considering letting him go because we're giving away so many free subscriptions for a year. The Maestro needs no introduction. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. And how about Jacob the Jeweler on an 8-0 run with his SportsLine site plays?
It's crazy. I didn't even put over our producer yet, but I will. I'll get to that. All right, it's time to go. Storylines that could affect the betting lines today. M Squared, you're up first. Let's go.
All right, with the Houston Rockets, we have a little drama as DeMarcus Cousins is potentially parting ways with the team. Now popped up questionable after they said he was going to play today. We'll see what happens there. Christian Wood is still out. Victor Oladipo is close to returning, but is still doubtful for tonight's game. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, Al Horford is out tonight. That's big news for them as they take on the Miami Heat. And then we head to the Los Angeles Lakers, still without Anthony Davis, also without Dennis Schroeder, and a big matchup with the Washington Wizards.
All right. Zach Attack, what are you looking at today in college basketball?
Well, we're only about a week and a half away from conference tournaments in college basketball, but today's schedule is actually set up like conference tournament action. You have a really early morning game coming on here in about an hour. And there's a midday game, and then there's 8 games before 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time before the nightcap. So people are going to be able to test the waters a little bit on betting action for conference tournaments coming up.
Thank you very much, Zach, for thinking about us out here on the West Coast. All right, Maestro, what are you looking at today?
Well, Coach, you know how we rode Drake yesterday, and they were up 27, and they almost didn't cover. They did cover, winning by 14. So sorry to see their point guard, Roman Penn, went out early in the second half, non-contact ankle, definitely not going to play today. And what's crazy is Drake, 18-4 against the number. You just don't get a bargain. They only lower the spread by 1 point. It was 12.5 yesterday. They lose their starting point guard. They're already without Hemphill, their leading scorer. And what do the books do?
Well, the books apparently froze on the Maestro. We'll get back to him in a second. We got to move on. We do this every single week, or at least the last couple of weeks, a free year-long subscription to SportsLine. Sorry, Maestro. That's the only way you can be stopped is by technology. All right, here are our 5 winners for our SportsLine year-long subscriptions. At JW Hensley 92, at AWOL21, Scotty D 425, Tyler _True 15, and DLarwar _55. The jeweler will reach out to you. Now, if you want to win a year-long subscription, go over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. In that review, give us your pick to win this year's Stanley Cup. Now, you must leave your Twitter handle, and then next Monday, I'll announce 5 new winners of year-long subscriptions. And you know by now, if you're paying attention to social media, the SportsLine app is absolutely killing it. Simulations, the cappers, you get it all for a year for free if you win. All right, it's time to get to our board for the day. Reminder, we were 9-0 yesterday. M Squared, you know the deal. Give it to me.
Yeah, Coach, before I give the pick, I also want to mention there's a fresh new look on the SportsLine website if you're not using the app and actually using the desktop version. I saw that went live this morning. Looks awesome. All right, now for my first play, Washington Wizards plus 6.5 against the Lakers. I know it seems a little strange to be betting the Washington Wizards, but this team is trending in the right direction. They've won 4 in a row and covered the spread in all 4 of those games against teams that are at least middle of the pack or above. I like them here against the Lakers as they're without Anthony Davis, which is huge. But the loss of Dennis Schroeder is actually just as big to the Lakers right now, as they really are struggling for some of the scoring outside of LeBron. I like the Wizards here plus 6.5. I only make them 3-point underdogs in my simulations. I love this spot for Westbrook and Beal. Second play, Dallas Mavericks -5 against the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies haven't been good as an underdog in their last 6 games. I believe they're 1-5 against the spread there. I like him in this spot because Dillon Brooks is going to be out. They've got a few guys returning that were out for rest in the last game, but Dillon Brooks is a critical point for the Memphis Grizzlies in that starting lineup. Look for Luka to have a big enough game here. It might be close for 3.5 quarters, but I expect the Mavericks to pull away. I make them -6.8 in my simulation, so I like it at -5.
Very good. By the way, Magic Johnson was tweeting out the same thing you just said, that Dennis Schroeder was a really big loss in addition to AD. All right, Zach Attack, I know you got a little combo today. What do you have?
Yeah, we'll start out in college basketball, coach, with Charleston Southern. This line actually moved on me. It was 5 last night when I recommended it. It's at 3.5 now. I'm going to recommend buying the half point to get it to +4. They're playing against Presbyterian in the Big South Conference. Charleston Southern just one win this year in the Big South Conference, so they haven't been playing that great, obviously. But last year they beat Presbyterian in 2 out of 3 matchups. I think they'll hang around in this game because Presbyterian, they rank 368th in the country in points per game with just 63.5 points. Our second play will be St. Mary's -5.5 against Pepperdine. The Gales actually lost to Pepperdine 9 days ago by 2 points, but I think Pepperdine's a team that's playing with fire. They had a big lead against St. Mary's at halftime, almost blew that a few games ago against San Francisco. They were down double digits before they came back and won. So I think they're playing with fire. St. Mary's actually held them to under 40% shooting in that matchup. I think they'll reinstill that game plan defensively and play better offensively, more efficient offensively. And our last play will be an NBA player prop, Gary Trent Jr., over 2.5 rebounds, +120 actually here. I think this is value just based on Trent Jr. He's averaged just 2 rebounds per game this year, and over his last 4 games, he has just a total of 7 rebounds. But earlier this month, he had a 6-game stretch where he had 3 rebounds or more. We know the Suns have smaller guards, especially off the bench. Gary Trent Jr., he's going to play 38 minutes here. I think he can crash down and get those rebounds.
I think it's amazing how you guys find all these little nuggets and all the different plays that the normal player just wouldn't find. Gary Trent Jr. over 2.5 rebounds. I really like it. All right, quickly, before we get to our rock star, I got to tell you, we have 3 more year-long subscriptions to give out in our Perfect Parlay contest. Now, JSpade _ Dave Sully 5, I think I got that right, and Irvin Miles. You guys went to our YouTube page in our comments. We do this every single day. This was my idea like 2 weeks ago, and now we've given away 8. I'm almost getting fired because of this. So you put in your best bet for the day. If one of our cappers goes perfect with their picks and you win your best bet, then you're eligible to win a year-long subscription. Now, our SportsLine app play of the day. We're going back to the NHL. The Islanders -160 over the Sabres, 7 Eastern. This comes from Matt Severance, who is 37-15 in his last 52 NHL money line picks. Now, the Islanders have lost 2 straight. We know that. But those games were on the road. At home, they're 4-0-1. And they're on a 5-game winning streak in this series. So when it's -160 and we get nuggets like that, Maestro, what's the juice?
It's worth the squeeze.
You're damn right it is. Now, it's that time. The Maestro has been on fire like nobody I have ever seen. Another perfect day on Sunday. I'm just going to sit back. The floor is yours.
All right, Coach, we got an early start with Eastern Kentucky visiting Southeast Missouri State. And Eastern Kentucky is a team I love, and I've been betting on them a lot. But this is the end of a 7-game road trip. It's like 3 weeks, 3 states, 2 weeks. I mean, they have just been on the road, and it showed Saturday. SEMO, the Redhawks just blew them out. They were up 26 at halftime. The line was 5.5 on Saturday. Now the books have only adjusted 1 point. They're still laying 4.5. I like Southeast Missouri to at least keep it close and maybe win and win outright. This Kansas State assistant that came over, Brad Korn, is doing a great job. I think they beat Austin Peay before Eastern Kentucky. I think they get it done. And then out west, I like New Mexico in this battle of really bad teams in the Mountain West to beat Air Force. New Mexico, much bigger. They dominate the offensive glass. Air Force does not do a good job on the boards. And I think also if New Mexico presses, they're going to cause a lot of turnovers to Air Force. That's what we saw in the last game for Air Force. So I like New Mexico getting one now. I got it at pick, but now you can get 1 point with the Lobos. And then Damian Lillard, over 12.5 rebounds and assists. He's had 18, 20, 17, and 14 the last 4 games. This is a tough matchup, at Phoenix, but I still think he gets over this number. I think that line is adjusted too much to credit the Suns defense and the Suns pace. He gets it done and gets at least 13.
I think so many times we focus on his scoring and we don't realize how efficient he is in the rebound and assist department. All right. We are up against it. Here we go, Jeweler. Throw it up there. There you go. Time for our recap. M squared, let's start with him. Wizards plus 6.5 against the Lakers. Lakers without AD, without Dennis Schroeder. And the Wizards have been playing really good basketball lately. And then the Mavericks -5 over a struggling Grizzlies team. That's an 8:30 Eastern tip. By the way, that Lakers game tips off at 10 Eastern time tonight. Zach Attack likes Charleston Southern. This game's come all the way down to plus 3.5. He recommends buying the half point up to 4 over Presbyterian. That's a 6 Eastern tip. St. Mary's also 6 Eastern, -5.5 over Pepperdine. And then in a player prop, Gary Trent Jr. over 2.5 rebounds. You're actually getting plus money on this one, plus 120. That Blazers Suns tips at 9 Eastern time. And the Maestro, Southeastern Missouri. Most of you probably didn't even know they were Division I. Plus 4.5 over Eastern Kentucky. Again, an early tip. Pay attention to these tips. 3 Eastern time. Then New Mexico Pick'em over Air Force. And Damian Lillard over 12.5 combo, rebound, and assist coming back at -135. And our SportsLine app play of the day. In the NHL, the Islanders -160 over the Sabres. That's a drop the puck, 7 Eastern time. Quickly, shout out to my favorite player in the world, Patrick Mahomes, has his daughter yesterday, Sterling Sky Mahomes. Congratulations to him and his fiancee, Brittany Matthews, for the birth of their first child. You got your marching orders. Let's take every single ticket, yet again, straight to the pay window. For M Squared and Chief, for Zach Attack, for the Maestro, for the Jeweler, I am the coach. Let's get this week started right. The only place for your daily early edge. Good luck.